Hello, my name's Nathan Hunt, and I'm here to talk about Disciples of the Storm, our RTS we are working on in the Unity 3D game engine. I want to first go into a little bit about our game world that we are working on, and then I'll be covering a little bit about gameplay and gameplay mechanics. Disciples of the Storm is set in the mythical fantasy world of Zonos, where a war between the gods of rain, thunder, and wind, or known as the Tempest, has thundered the planet and cast those fragments into the sky. Now, suspended in the sky above the storms of the gods below, the islands are populated by the people known as Zazonians, who are led by high priests who act as intermediaries between the people and the Tempests. In Disciples of the Storm, your character's high priest is pivotal to either victory or defeat in battle. If your player's high priest is captured and sacrificed by an enemy high priest, you lose the game. In the next segment, I'd like to cover a little bit about the gameplay mechanics and how the game has progressed from originally a fan tribute to now being done as a separate game in a new world and IP. To start with, I'm going to show off a little bit of the gameplay that we've implemented over the past 3 years inside of Unity. So I'm going to select my priest, which will bring up the priest's ring menu system. We have the construction button, cast spell, pray for devastation, view of knowledge, view of your priest's current favors with the deities, drop picked up resources, and general about information about the currently selected unit. To start with, I'm going to select the construct button, which will bring up the buildings selection of the ring menu. Here we have outposts, altars, workshops, and temples. I'm going to select the temple button. This will bring up the different deities' temples. We have thunder, rain, and wind. I'm going to go ahead and construct a rain temple. These buildings are all from the previous IP, and we are currently working on modeling the new building models for rain, thunder, and wind tempest deities. And we already have a finished concept for the wind temple that we are working with, from modeling from Morgan Ogburn's concept of the wind temple that he submitted to the team. I'm going to now construct a workshop, which brings up our little rain workshop building. Again, these models are all going to be replaced in Disciples of the Storm and are not going to be in the final version, but are just here to show a little bit of what we are capable of doing. Got our rain temple.
Workshop complete.
Constructed. We can bring up the workshop and select all currently producible technology. We've put knowledge into production. We've got the rain generators, attack units, and barricades. I'm going to go ahead and build a rain generator and then select it from our production menu, which this expands the reach of our faction's ability to construct outside of the radius of the rain temple, which if we select both of them, you can see that they overlap, and the one expands out the reach further. I'm going to go ahead and construct now some bridges to show how you can bridge and link to up with other islands. By building bridges to other islands and attaching them, you can select your priest and have him go to an unclaimed island, and he will construct a shrine outpost which then claims that island as your territory, and you can then bridge off of it. Otherwise, unclaimed islands that you bridge to, you can't bridge off of them until they're claimed, so if I tried placing a bridge, it wouldn't allow it to be constructed. But now with the outpost on this island, you can now successfully bridge from the island. Resource gathering in Disciples of the Storm is going to remain pretty much close to what it was under the old classic NetStorm, but we are changing the resource collector models. You can select your resource collectors and have them start collecting the little mana for the temples. And they'll bring them back to the temple, which will then deposit in your resource counter that's up at the top of the construction menu. When we started working on this project 3 years ago, it was very basic. Our coder had to implement an entire terrain generation system for randomly generating the islands out of the tiles and then generating the underside of the floating islands so that they had little stalactite type structure underneath the islands. We then proceeded with the implementing of the building system, then followed by the bridging system, which allows you, as I said, to be able to both bridge and also place units off the edges of bridges that then have little supports under them, like the islands. As a team, we're very excited to be working with the original developers on creating the new world for Sonos, along with now being able to generate new independent art and designs that will help revitalize the gameplay style and bring it up to date to modern graphics capabilities. Some people have asked us, is Disciples of the Storm NetStorm? The answer is no. Disciples of the Storm, once finished, will be an entirely new game world and IP, which we are working on in conjunction with the original developers of NetStorm on creating this new world.